Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for your mercy and your grace. We pray tonight that you'll be with us, help us to do your business and the city's business, and help us just to have a great meeting. We pray. In your name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So approval of minutes of regular meeting on 1/7/20.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who made that second?
What's that? Oh, aye.
Yeah.
You seconded it?
So I guess you guys noticed our mayor's sick and our mayor pro tem's not here, so you got me, unfortunately.
Doing a great job, sir.
Yeah, committee and department reports. Chamber.
Good evening. In your packet, you should have a letter from the Chamber of Commerce Board. Also with that is accompanying a bid sheet. I want to explain to you that letter. The Delta Fair Board has brought to us a project that would require the city's funding and approval. This spring, the Fair Board is going to be resurfacing all their paved area of their midway and their parking. And because of the layout of that area, the American Legion, the Chamber and City property, and the Fair Board, they have asked if we all wanted to go in together and do that as one cohesive project so that it could save costs and also just look a lot nicer out there right now. It's patchy, where everything's been changed at different times, but this would be a fresh start for everyone. So we would need your assistance with that. On that bid, the city's portion would be $11,277.60, and these would be required from the Fair Board, and this is the best price that they can gather. So we're just asking for your support tonight in approving the funding of that project.
So, Steve,
I would really like to talk to Steve about it before, just because it's $11,000, to be honest.
I did talk to Steve today, and he was very much in favor of it.
Okay, well, if Steve's in favor for it, I'll make a motion for it.
And I'll second
all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I just want to be
No,
good.
I completely
Good.
understand. I agree with finance chair, you know, so that's all I have tonight. I thank you for that.
Thank you, ma'am.
And finance, he's not here. Does any other members have anything? Fire.
No, not me that time.
So, Chief, we've combined them, so he doesn't have anything, so he's gonna go now. Is that right? That's what it is?
It's combined now, the committee and department reports. So both of y'all can talk.
This is really throwing the mojo off here, folks.
Tell me,
Did any of you all know this?
No, we didn't know that.
Marco's
Wow.
up here, he's changing
Right.
everything.
no.
All right. Okay, well, I'm not prepared, so.
I'm sorry.
Give me a minute. No, folks, it did include, this time around, our year-end totals for fire department and code enforcement operations. So I hope some of you took a look at them. And just a few brief notes on some of the things that we want to kind of hit on. I think one of the first ones was the code enforcement report from Victor. Stating he done over 685 building inspections. Key thing I want you to note here, total number of active permits for 83 for the year, with a total construction cost of over $8,941,700. Yeah. See, I told you I wasn't prepared here.
That's 941,000.
Darn near $9 million worth of construction going on in the city limits of Kennett. So, guys, thank you as a council. You know, you have to value, thank you for the work that you all are doing here. So, good things going on. There are some other stuff. 25 rental inspections. I know we don't do rental inspections, but there were 25 inspections that took place due to either the owner or the occupants requesting an inspection. So even though we don't do them, we are being called periodically to go in there and help these folks out when needed. So some other noteworthy events there. Sent out 80 different, or correction, 50 properties were looked at as far as any type of condemning or rehabbing. And of those, Kennett tore down 15 properties at a cost of $67,000. 20 properties torn down by the owners, and 15 properties that were fixed are in the process of being fixed by the owners. So I know the cost factor there with tearing down buildings is something of concern, so there you have it on that. Fire report wise, we are down on responses this year, which was a good thing. It means our inspections process is working. I'm gonna throw that in there to protect our inspections department. So, yeah, 965, 1,025 response calls that were done this past year, both in city limits and out. So again, last year's numbers was around the 1,300 mark, so we're down about 275 calls from last year. Property maintenance, again, we've listed everything that Donnie has done over the course of his, when he's took over the job as property maintenance. And a total of 1,046 letters of violation were issued this past year. So he's doing his job. Now another good thing, we added our safety officer, Mr. Kyle Roberts, brought him in here with us tonight. Since November 20th, he's conducted over 19 building inspections. He's took on 5 complaint calls as far as any type of safety concerns that the city may face. Some other things that's gone on, Murma was in here last week, and we should expect a report Friday, so we didn't get it in time to get it on the reports for you all tonight. Yes, next time, again, full reports coming out Friday. We do have some preliminary numbers. Our Murma score has gone up from 90% last year to 95% this year.
That's great.
So we were an increase of 5%. With that being said, will we see any money increase or reduction in premiums? No, not for another 3 years. So again, it's usually based on the previous 3 years of activity. So no, we won't be able to see anything as of yet, but with these numbers, I do expect with the good job that Tyler's doing, that maybe next year it'll be even better. So we will see some cost improvement.
Any of that increase, that 5% increase, was that directly related to the safety officer?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great decision.
Yeah, that was a good decision on your part. So again, thank you.
Came from a good suggestion. Can't say so much about the guy.
Hey. Tyler, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Other things that kind of working on, grants, working with the economic development. Hannah Barnett is going to be helping me out with the Fire Act grant this year. And we're kind of looking at maybe replacing our aging SCBA fleet. Self-contained breathing apparatus is what we wear in fires. Currently, we're looking at about 19-year-old units that we have. So we're kind of getting in need where we've been having some heavy-duty work done on them. And hopefully we're going to get a fire grant that will bear the brunt of that cost. So,
What's one
SCBA
cover
runs around $7,500
per person?
That's on the top end, that's per person. So yeah, we were looking in the neighborhood of $275,000 to replace our fleet of SCBA. So yeah, that's not pretty when it comes to budget time.
No matter how fast you say it.
Yeah. Another thing we're working on, we will start the 1st of February, Hannah's gonna be working with me, and we're gonna start on our Station 2 project as far as obtaining grants. So we'll start that process of getting that grant money, and then go into as far as any type of architectural design and so forth. We do have one previous design that we've had. And for the most part, it's doable, but we do have some things that we'll discuss a little bit later times when it comes to that. But yes, we're moving forward with that, and it is happening. It's just at a slow pace. Any questions from you?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Human resources.
Nothing for the public at this time.
Remain.
We'd like to request a closed meeting after this meeting. That's all.
That's it. Thank you.
We have our end of the year totals for the amount of dogs that we took in. And for this year, our intake was 624 dogs. We returned 111. 463 was sent to either rescue, with only 3 of those being local adoptions, which still was not in the city limits of Kennett. And we only used 19 out of that, only the last 19 out of that number. And our numbers, we've been looking at them, and I can have that for you the next time, but it didn't go down about 100, 150 a year over the past 4 years. So we're seeing it drop, I think, from shipping them out, and then they're not here to produce and run in the streets. So, and with the state law requiring spay and neuter laws, that's kind of helping out a lot. So, and all of their health certificates, all the vetting was paid for by donations. So the only vetting the city paid for was the 19 that we're using us.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Police.
I don't have anything for the public at this time.
Okay. First thing I had to the council, I think we talked about the speed trailers. We finally got one of them fixed.
Great.
Guy with Central Service came back and said the older one was not worth fixing. He wouldn't spend the money on it. Said we wanted to, he said he would recommend just getting a new one instead of even trying to mess with that one. I think, depending on what the council wants to do, 2 speed trailers is a luxury. If you think we need them, you know, we can start looking at the cost of those. We got one good one right now, and we can start with that. So our repair cost is going to be half of what we anticipate. Maybe something maybe we can consider later on.
Grant or something later on.
Yeah. If we see a need for 2, then we'll tackle that one from there.
And how much are those new roundabout?
For a new one?
Yeah.
$7,000 to $8,000. Depending on what bells and whistles you get them.
What kind of warranty?
Right now, I think we'll just stick with what we got.
Chief?
Next thing, I think a young lady reached out to you about the speed on Ely Road.
Yes.
Since they've extended the pavement on Ely Road going east, to kind of give them a longer runway, so to speak, up to the stop sign that the council put up back last year. She had asked for another stop sign on the east end of that. And I don't know how bad the speed problem is. We haven't had a chance to go down there and monitor it yet. Over the next 2 weeks, we'll try to go down there and run a lot more traffic and see how many stops and see how bad it is. Maybe try to come back with a report to the council. I'm not necessarily a fan of putting up more stop signs to solve our speeding problem. That's not always going to solve it. In this case, maybe, I don't know. But we'll take a look at it.
And let the street committee look at it too.
So let's kind of see how it goes over the next couple of weeks.
So we can't just put up stuff.
It has to have a specific reason for it.
Okay.
There used to be a,
Sure hand out
I
tickets.
mean, if council approves it, that's a specific reason.
That's
there used to be a speed bump or something down there. Was
There used to be, and they took it out when they extended it. And I think that kind of created.
Was that a speed bump or a hole
I think it was,
across there?
well, I think it
They
was,
ordered it.
yeah, it was a big
I thought it was a
culvert.
hole and then a plug.
There was a culvert is what it was.
You're gonna slow down one way or the other.
Yeah.
You're gonna call a record. Pretty simple.
Okay.
Can't get into the business of speed bumps.
Yeah, no.
No.
Thank you for checking into it for me.
I'm gonna take one of those. This is we talked about putting computers in the cars at the last council meeting. Due to elimination of municipal court, we'll have to go to e-ticket. The cost for this has come in a lot more than anybody anticipated. The software was roughly about $60,000. That's before we start buying equipment. So we're looking at a lot more cost. We've got it broke down in the pages, the front page, you'll see once you get them. I'll wait till everybody gets a copy. I did ask Brad Floyd to be at this meeting to answer any questions that you guys may have. The pages stapled to it kind of breaks it down in cost per cars. If you look on the front page, it's got KPD and humane and code enforcement. With mules, total cost $150,680. But now, keep in mind, humane department and code enforcement will not need mules in their cars or in their computer system. That's just going to be for the law enforcement cars. If we do it without data or mules, it drops the cost down to $143,596. And then, is the GPS included in that?
It's the next column.
Okay. If we decide to do GPS, which basically gives us the option of being able to go to a CAD system a little bit later on, which is computer-aided dispatch, that is something that I would like to see as a goal for 911 center to be able to have computer-aided dispatch. It would be very beneficial for them, for the officers, for the fire department, and the whole emergency management system if we had computer-aided dispatch. I realize due to this cost, we may not be able to include that right now. But we can have the GPS put into the computers now if it's something that we think we may go to in the next 3 to 5 years. But we can eliminate that cost if we want to. It depends on, keep in mind these prices are not concrete. Brad is hoping maybe he can do some more working with the distributor and maybe get these costs down. This is something we've kind of come up with over the last 2 weeks. Brad has worked a lot of hours in a very short amount of time trying to get these figures to us. So if you have any questions or anything about this, you can ask Brad. He's prepared to answer your questions the best he can.
And we will be saving $107,000 the first year with the judge, clerk, and all that. So,
What was our original estimated cost on this?
Original, like what we thought,
Yeah.
we were way off. We were thinking about 40, 45. But the software come in at more than that. That's what's really killing the whole thing. It's a lot more expensive than what Brad or I had thought would come in.
Ultimately, we've got to have this direction, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes. Have everything.
This does include all of our cars being equipped with computers, and then the 3 for 2 for code. Is that right? You want 2? 2.
Yes.
And then 1 in the humane vehicle. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get better numbers. We'll have more time to break some of this stuff down, but next council meeting, hopefully kind of come in. We'll probably need to have a committee meeting and discuss what we want to.
well, I mean, the way I look at it, you might as well get it all, because $7,000, $8,000 is, it's not gonna make or break us. I mean,
At that point,
if we're gonna spend 143, we might as well go ahead and spend 150 and get the mules and the GPS and everything.
The GPS gives us an option to add in CAD later on. It's something I would like to see us do. I don't have a clue what that's gonna cost, but we can maybe start working on that with our 911 center and maybe get that up to date.
Whenever we had that meeting, I think we need to have Steve and the rest of the finance on it as well. But we can make it work, I do believe.
Okay. Do you have any questions as far as the other sheets and how that's broke down?
yeah, the computers themselves, it says about what, $2,600, is that what that says? That's for the computer, and that's just no software or anything on that.
No, that's just the computer stuff.
And the reason for that higher price is the ruggedized. It's got to be ruggedized. It's got to be fitted for a vehicle. So the vehicle could be in high pursuits. There's so many variables in that. So the way the machine, it's actually designed, it's custom fitted to the way we're going to have them do it. So whatever we end up doing, But basically, the machine has to be done precisely so that if it does get in a wreck, it doesn't damage the device or doesn't go airborne and, you know, hurt somebody. So there's a lot of things that have to go into that. You know, obviously they're going to be moved in and out of vehicles because they're going to be mobile data terminals, so you can actually remove them from the vehicle, take them in and work on things, etc. So it's not like going to Walmart. There's a lot more components involved in making a computer like this versus what you just see on the market. It has to be custom fitted.
And then each year it's $12,000?
Well, yes.
That's the total, the
That's to keep it going here. Is that for the internet?
Yeah, that's your connection fee. So that's for AT&T, which the city gets a discount on AT&T through, is it FirstNet? Is that right, Paul? I always want to call it Safety Net, which would have been a really cool name, but anyway. So FirstNet, they get a discount because of that. So basically your mobile data is way cheaper. It's unlimited data. And then Mules itself has a terminal fee, which is crazy cheap compared to what it was 8-9 years ago. So we're really kind of thrilled about the Highway Patrol's side of that because it's internet based now. So it really brings that cost down. I mean, I would have never thought outfitting 21 vehicles would cost, you know, or 20, however many, would cost $890 something for Mules. That's pretty amazing.
grant options? Anything like that?
I don't know, on short notice, I don't know, we might be able to look at maybe like a reimbursement grant, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know of
Let's look
anything.
into that.
But we can look into it definitely. There is some other stuff maybe we can look at, I just don't know yet. Keep in mind this cost does not include, putting a report system into this, we did not include that. We know we also do reports in their car for the in-house system. So we kind of stand away from that right now. Because there's going to be another added cost unless you want me to get a cost on it. And
Do you have a
if
clue
you want to consider us adding that on there.
You might as
know what
well.
it costs?
I don't. I'll have to get with Interpol to get those numbers. Once we got to these numbers and the software coming in at what it did, I thought, well, I'll just wait until we kind of know.
How much easier is it to do it on that than it is to do it on another one?
Like get started in their car and finish it at the station, can
Yeah.
Yeah, they could. So it kind of be officer specific on that question. Like some officers will find it easier to work in a car, and some won't. But obviously, if you're going to use the mobile data terminals to do RMS or Interpol, you're eventually going to get rid of your cost of having internal desktops. So you have to look at that as savings down the road too. So. I can put all that into formulas for you as well. Once I get, if you want me to reach out to Interpol, I will.
It'd be nice to know.
Yeah.
Please.
Yep, get it.
I mean, if we're gonna spend $150,000, you know.
What's another 150?
It might be.
That's not what I was really going with.
It may be easier or cheaper to do this right up front in the initial cost, they're trying to add it later, I just don't know. So we'll get those costs though. Any other questions? That's all I have for now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Street, other report, committee report. We do need to have a closed meeting. And then, we've started preparing, a list of streets and sidewalks that we'll be repairing and, repaving. So we're working on that. We'll have that list pretty shortly. And, I'll pass it off to you.
Nothing to call you mayor, but
Yeah.
stand-in mayor,
Yeah.
council.
Well, he can't, even he comes later. Thanks, Bill.
Sorry. I didn't have a whole lot. I started writing stuff down when the meeting started. I guess the first thing we'll address is the stop sign thing. Well, it came up. According to the MUTCD, which is the Manual for Uniform Traffic Control Devices, they recommend that you not put stop signs up for speed control, but rather for traffic flow. They also recommend that you don't put them on the main street, that you put them on the minor street coming to it to aid in the traffic flow. That's just something I throw out there. That's the way that it reads. As far as the street department, we've been patching holes, trimming trees, and changing oil and getting our vehicles and stuff ready for this upcoming construction season, so we don't have any downtime, hopefully. The grant for the compost tractor, we didn't get that. They instead wanted to concentrate the money towards shelter workshops. I think there was a couple of them there. There was $250,000 requested, and they only had $140 to give out. So when I heard that and knew what we were asking for, I kind of didn't really hold out much hope anyway. They said hopefully it'll be there next year if we want to try again. So hopefully the tractor will last at least that much longer. I guess the rest of this is stormwater. I'll let you talk now.
Finish it up.
All right, stormwater.
Yes. Had a couple of interesting things come up. For one, we found that the sweeper has driven 2,197 miles and picked up 176 tons of debris from our streets in 2,000 miles. So it's obviously doing its job. The new ones, it seems to be doing.
How long has that been in service? Just 3 months?
That actually is the year.
It's been July. Yeah, actually, that 2,197 miles is both sweepers combined.
Okay.
But from January to July, was the old sweeper, and it ran 500 miles.
Okay.
The new sweeper we've had since July to December actually we put 1,500 miles on. So I contributed mostly to downtime with the other sweeper because it was falling apart. So this one is pretty much run since we've got it without issues. So we put 1,000 miles more on it in the same amount of time as we did the old one. So it's paid off to replace it.
Very effective. Right now, we're also putting $500 a month away, $5,000 a month away from the stormwater monies to build up $250,000 to assure that we are ready in any emergency situation. So we're starting that now. We're just trying to figure out what account to put it in. Brenda, you'll have to help us with that a little bit, okay? We've had a couple of interesting things go on too. We're looking for a project that will show the community that we're doing the job that we need to do with this stormwater money. And one of the things that I think would be somewhat appropriate would be the ditch that goes through the ballparks and the soccer field and all that. Because I know when people come in from out of town, they look at us like, what in the heck are you doing here? And it's just a mosquito nasty area. And so we're looking to do something with that. The county says that that it's ours to do with what we want, but then we started looking at our, Victor started checking out the real estate taxes, and we're paying real estate tax to the drainage ditch and the county for something that we apparently, according to them, own. And this goes back, this is 2015 that I got right there. And anyway, I'm going to get with Mr. McVeigh on that.
Well, we wouldn't be, you know, in my understanding, that ditch is owned by the drainage district.
But when we talked to them the other day, they said, no, you own it. And they produced some documentation, which is a map that showed that we owned it.
Well,
That doesn't.
I'll look into that because I don't know how we can own part of the drainage district.
I don't either, and it's.
Now, we would have to pay fees to the drainage district.
If they're.
But if it's the county, if it's county taxes, we wouldn't pay that.
Right, and that's of concern to me. If it's our, I mean, if every citizen in Kennett is paying somebody else and nothing's getting done, I mean, we need to. So we'll be checking into that. The Department of Revenue, the DNR says that we cannot touch the ditch unless we have permission from the Corps of Engineers. And so we're working on getting a hold of the Corps of Engineers for that. One good thing is that our impairment rating on our water flow throughout the community was downgraded, and so it has created a lot less work for us at this point. Instead of having to file reports every year, we can go every 2 years, things like that. But to counter that, we have a new person taking over the system. And she has no experience, and she's told us that we need to continue to do things annually, because when they present our literature on what we're supposed to be doing, it is basically going to be a plan that we've already developed, and then they took it and made it permanent. And so it's still in flux, a lot of craziness to do. But hopefully we're continuing to work on the Corps of Engineer. The DNR says that they think it's a great idea because it will help control our flood plains and our stormwater issues, and they want us to continue to do that. And then the other thing is South Jackson, we're still working on that. Started being more aggressive on that. That's all I have. That's enough.
All right, so, well, industrial.
He's got to finish. Do you have something, Keith?
Oh, that's right.
A little bit.
This is confusing. This is
It's not
confusing.
that big a deal, but
Yeah.
it's just information again, mostly.
From January to December of 2019, the street department has put in 858.45 man hours, 11 machine hours, 130.3 gallons of diesel, 393.9 gallons of gas, and 2,930 miles traveled on vehicles for cleaning drains, storm drains in the city, which is part of the stormwater thing. But we've done it forever, so kind of going along with that. Part of what Bill was talking about with the ditches, a couple things we were looking at is filling parts of it in and trying to get it concreted if we can find some kind of grant or something. And the DNR said that if we could concrete it in some way, that would actually help with our floodplain, getting water out of there quicker. So it could help with our flood plain map maybe, or just with the flooding deal, and with our stormwater, because it will help us identify issues with the illicit discharge easier by it not coming out in the ditch with all the growth and stuff. Plus, I talked to the mosquito guy, and he said that is a mosquito haven the way that ditch is right now. He said any water that sits still, it's going to breed them a lot. He said that ditch is really a bad thing to breed them with. If y'all don't have any questions, that's all I've got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Good to go now. All right, industrial, unfinished business. Do we have anything? Don't think I have anything either. New business. Approve the MoDOT Commission Municipal Agreement for 2020. It's in your packet. It was in your packet.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. I'm just some guy that jumped in. You gonna read it?
Okay, which one do we go first? Ordinance, okay. You know, in the last meeting, we voted to basically move city court or municipal court ordinance violations to be heard by an associate circuit judge. And what you have in front of you is the ordinance doing that. And first reading is an ordinance electing to have Kennett City ordinance violations heard and determined by an associate circuit judge.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Second reading, an ordinance electing to have Kennett City ordinance violations heard and determined by an associate circuit judge.
Motion.
All in favor?
Wait, roll call.
See, I remember that.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Okay, approve ordinance to move city court to state court.
That's what we just did.
Oh, what's the MoDOT commission, oh, we already did that. Sorry. Approve, OSCA ordinance.
That's the second ordinance you have in your packet, and it's the ordinance which basically increases court costs in city court from $12 to $15. That's, the OSCA is OSCA, the state courts administrator, and that's a requirement of theirs before we can move out to associate circuit court. First reading is an ordinance to amend section 135.270 of the municipal code of the city of Kennett to increase the cost of court from $12 to $15.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second reading, an ordinance to amend section 135.270 of the municipal code of the city of Kennett to increase the cost of court from $12 to $15.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Aye. Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 All right. Approve city bank balances.
Motion.
In your packet. Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Approve city revenue and expenditures. Is in your packet.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve city abstract. That was in your packet.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I guess that's it. There's a mayor's report left.
You don't have a report for us?
Yeah, I do. I do. I don't know if I should give it though.
Probably not.
Yeah, no, probably not. But either way, yeah, it's kind of fun, but, I don't.
Public comment. Public comment.
I don't envy them. Public comments. Public comments.
Miss Lisa, the director of Helping Hand, asked me to come and share on February 1st as a father-daughter dance. Anybody know United Way? You ever heard of United Way? They came to our meeting this month and they're trying to raise $41,000. Apparently, in the past, she told us they used to raise $150,000 a year. And it's gone down to 40. So we're doing our best to try to help them because they help out Helping Hand. They help us feed people and clothe people and help people. So it's February 1st at the First United Methodist Church. $25 for the father and his first daughter. $5 if you have a second daughter, third daughter. If you're a daughter, bring your father. It doesn't matter the age. And so if you don't have a daughter or you don't want to go, in front of your name there, just set $25 and I'll take it to United Way. But also donations would help too because they can get that. This is one of their biggest fundraisers of the year. So we just want to make sure if you guys have a daughter to bring them. Dinner and a dance. So there you go. $25 you can't eat, $25 anymore at McDonald's. So
That's right.
I just want to make sure you guys know that. And also too, just so you'll know, my granddaughter's 9 months old. She started crawling and pulling herself up. So I thought you guys needed to know that.
She can go next year.
Thank you, sir.
All right, anybody else? So I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn, no, go into a closed.
And you gotta take a motion to go into closing session.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
Yes.
Yeah. Give me two more times.
I think you did great.
Yeah.
Now,